I want to share a recipe that hopefully all of us can practice, or, yeah, it does take some practice. And I think that, for us who work on ourselves each day, sometimes to have some kind of structure, some kind of, um, I don't know, a format, uh, a guide, sometimes kind of helps to figure out where we need to go next. And my recipe is, or mathematical problem to work on, is attitude plus freedom plus peace equals health. And let me unpack that. Let's start with attitude. So, sometimes we need that push. We need that attitude, a positive attitude during difficult times. Sometimes we need an attitude to not worry about others and what they think. And I'm going to get back to this point because this is a really important area to cover. But also an attitude of strength and belief in ourselves. So just an attitude. We need to, do that and grow in that needed attitude. Being in a wheelchair or using crutches or using a walker, something visible that we have to use every day and deal with, it requires an attitude. And we need to grow in that attitude and in that strength of, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can do today, and not worry about tomorrow. Forget about yesterday. Forget about it. Forget about what so-and-so said. But anyway, I'm going to get back to the attitude of not worrying about what others think or say, or what we think that they are thinking about us, and what they might say, or that you think what they're going to say. So I'm going to get back to that point. So I'm going to finish the rest of the mathematical operation here. So attitude we covered a little bit, but the next one is plus freedom. And freedom to be ourselves. Freedom to know and that I can get in my wheelchair and I can get from point A to point B. And to really consider what the alternative would be if I didn't have my wheelchair, if I didn't have my walker or my crutches. Where would my freedom be? So it's the external freedom of the tools that I need to use, but also the internal freedom, to not feel like we're caged. And I know that during my condition, as goes up and down, sometimes I feel caged. And the key is for me to really be able to reach that key and open the gate and let myself out. Let myself out and really remind myself that I am free to do so many things due to the tools that I was given, whether it's emotional tools or concrete tools like my wheelchair, or, it gives me freedom. I shouldn't feel like I am caged. If you feel like you're caged, then something needs to change, but only you know internally what that is. Externally, if your tools are not working for you, that's something you need to bring up to your doctor and figure out, okay, I'm struggling too much with the cane, I'm struggling too much with the walker, I'm struggling. So is it a time where I just need to switch over to a wheelchair, which will give me more mobility? It will give me that external freedom that I need. And if you can build on that external freedom internally, your emotional freedom will also grow. It will amplify. So that's freedom, and how important it is for all of us to have it and to grow into it. The next one is peace. We have to get to a point where we are at peace with who you are, who I am, despite XYZ, despite my condition, despite being in a wheelchair, despite the fact that I have to move slower, despite the fact that I have to use, other tools to get around. So just despite all that, I'm at peace. I'm happy with what I have. I'm lucky to have what I have. And, to wake up in the morning and to know that I'm going to get up and go and do my life. So, peace. And how do I find it? How do I reach for it so I'm not so pain in the rear every day? But, to have that peace that I have what I need. Tomorrow's going to be a good day. I'm going to make it a good day. I'm going to plan to do something fun, to do some of my work, but also to have a time to relax, whether it's watching a movie, whether it's going to see a neighbor, to have that peace that life is okay. Life is going to be okay. And I will try to and do my best to build peace into my everyday, so I'm not fearful, so that I am not held back, that I have the peace of mind that I am okay. And the more okay that I am, others around me will also feel that sense of peace, and will say, okay, we don't have to help this person, we don't have to help Lisa so much. She's doing good. So, and all of this, will equate to better health, because the less stress we are, because in all these aspects, the attitude plus freedom plus peace, if we build all of that one day at a time, then, that's going to equate for me, and hopefully for others, a sense of health, or to continue to build health and balance. And, when we go to the doctor, our blood pressure is not so high. When I go to the doctor, they're going to say, okay, good. Because if I know that if I'm in a bundle and just tightly wound, I know that the next time I go to the doctor, they're going to tell me that my blood pressure is high, that, my breathing is off, or, my muscles are spasming more. And, it's because I haven't worked on my attitude and sense of freedom and sense of peace. And so I know what's going to happen to me if I don't do that. More headaches, more spasming, more, because I'm in this tightness. And my doctor doesn't want that for me. So doesn't want that for anybody. So truly, let's get back to attitude, because I think the attitude is kind of the base for this mathematical operation here. So, it's not easy to build the attitude, but one of the pieces here for having an attitude, and I'm not talking about a negative attitude, I'm talking about a healthy attitude about ourselves. But one of the critical things is to have an attitude to not worry about what others might say or are going to say, an attitude of not worrying about what others think or are going to think or what I think they're going to think. So we can go around in circles in getting ourselves in a bundle about thinking and worrying about what others are going to think about myself. So I'm so wrapped up in doing that I don't focus on myself at all. I'm just focused on everybody else and how do I walk or how do I handle my wheelchair or how do I handle myself in the food line or how do I handle myself when I'm going here or going there and how do I handle myself when I'm at work. And, I just want people to know it's just we need to have that attitude of no worry. I really don't care what others think about me. I really don't care about what others might think about me, and if they come up to me and say, I'm just worried about you, do you need anything? And that's an opportunity. It might be irritating, but it's an opportunity. Instead of an obstacle, it's an opportunity for education. Because I think that, sometimes we're worried about what they're thinking, and sometimes they're not thinking anything. They're absolutely not thinking anything. It's ourselves that we build up, ideas about others that we think that others have an idea about us. So that's where our lives get really tangled. And then the mathematical operation of attitude plus freedom plus peace can't happen because we are so obsessed about others. And quite frankly, people, this is not about other people. This is about ourselves. And how do we go about proud and freely and filled with as much peace as possible? Because, I recognize that we have to deal with pain and we have to deal with our oopsies, the days that we fall or the days that we drop things and it's hard to pick it up again, or the days that we struggle to get dressed, the days we struggle to get in the shower. I get that. I get that. But if we bog ourselves down with all the things that I can't do, and therefore others are going to look down at me, then I can't get to the final equation, which is health. I really can't. I never will. So it's really important for me to go back to the beginning and continue to build that attitude, positive attitude as a person with disability, and be able to say, yes, I have a disability, but the disability doesn't have me. I have it, I have to carry it, but it's not going to drag me down. So I have to build that strong attitude of, I'm going to make this work, and I'm going to make sure that I am a person with a disability who stands up for myself, and I will build my attitude so I can stand up also for others. And one of the reasons why this channel exists is to remind myself of the internal work that I need to do every day and to have that attitude of a proud person who happens to have a disability, and notice that I said I am a person and I am a human being with rights and responsibilities just like anyone else. I might be different. I might get around different. I might use different tools, but that's okay. That's okay. It gives me the freedom, because that's when we fall into the next part. It gives me the freedom and the peace to reach the health and the happiness that I need as a person with a disability. So the attitude it needs to be the strongest part of our equation. An attitude, a positive one, you know, um, and especially the attitude of believing in myself that I can do XYZ. You know, right now for myself, I am working on two big things that I've had some obstacles about, and someday I'll talk about it, but I'm still in the middle of it. One is to be able to drive again. And, you know, there's nothing health-wise really stopping me from driving. The doctors believe in me. Neurology has said, yeah, we can support you driving again. However, not with your feet because your legs are unpredictable and we don't know the next time where they will continually or they might stop working for you. So you can drive, but we want you to use hand gears. That's going to take me a little bit. You know, I'm almost done with therapy. I have a few more sessions, and when we're almost done, then I have to talk with OT, and OT will fax over the information to the person who's going to train me in hand gears. So this is, you know, a big piece for me. We have a lack of drivers here at the assisted living. So just having one more driver is going to help a lot to be able to drive people where they want to go for those who can't drive or don't drive at all. So this is what I want to do. It's one of my goals. And I need to have an attitude, a positive attitude about it to be able to get to the end of my equation. The second thing that I'm working on is, you know, I mainly use a power wheelchair. Sometimes I use a walker a little bit because I want me to be able to stand up and stretch and walk, even though it's painful, but I'm doing it. But the other thing that I want to do because of travel needs and being able to, if I'm not able to drive, you know, be able to get in a car with someone else to help me get to where I need to go. Instead of having to wait for a van, you know, to come and pick me up and having to wait a complete hour for a van to pick me up, take me back home. So that is for a manual wheelchair. You know, and everybody else outside of me is worried that I won't be able to handle the manual wheelchair. And the truth is, it's none of their beeswax. Truly. When I started with my condition, I was using a manual wheelchair, and granted, you know, some of my muscles aren't at the greatest shape, but my therapist has not stopped me from going ahead with the manual wheelchair. I'm looking at an organization that's in my state right now, and they are going to help me. They sent me a form so my therapist could fill in some measurements that they needed. So I have the form. I faxed it over to them already, and hopefully at the beginning or middle of June, I'll be able to submit my request, and they'll make me a beautiful wheelchair. So a manual wheelchair that's worth, you know, its weight in gold for me, because it'll help me, you know, travel in a variety of ways, not just one or two ways. It will allow me to do long trips. I'll take the manual wheelchair with me instead of, you know, my power wheelchair. A power wheelchair is I protect it quite a bit. So, and the airlines are not doing well in protecting our wheelchair. So I don't know. We'll see what is possible. So attitude plus freedom plus peace equals health. And I'm hoping that this is something that you will contemplate in trying this mathematical operation or this structure for you to build within yourself and come to that peace where your health starts to improve. We don't want anything externally to hold us back or to crush us, because we need to be the best person, human being that I can be, despite my disability. So, folks, this is Lisa from Power Wheelchairs for Success. I hope you are doing well, and I'm hoping you will have a good weekend, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, everyone, for being here and listening to this podcast. Feel free to look around the channel of Power Wheelchairs for Success. Also, feel free to subscribe if you feel this channel will be of good assistance to you. And like any video that you enjoyed or any of the podcasts, those two things help channel makers to a great degree. So likes and subscriptions. So if you would like to also forward this podcast to someone, or to forward any of the videos on this channel, that would also be great. So again, thank you so much for being here on Power Wheelchairs for Success. You could be anywhere doing anything somewhere else, but you're here with us today. So thank you, and I hope you come again.